SP Convo, SP Convo.
Their enslavement by demanding and fighting not just for their own rights, but for universal rights. They believed those words that our founders did not. And from the moment when Crispus Attucks, a man who himself was not free, who was a fugitive from slavery, died for the freedom of this new nation, all the way to now when we see the Black Lives Matter protests, then we must acknowledge that it is Black people who have fought more than any other group to make the ideals laid out in the Constitution a reality.
There we go. There it is. Yeah, it's a special one here. It keeps getting better and better and better. SP Convo, man. Let's talk about Black American culture. Black Americans' culture is number one, the spirit of strength. They fight, they resist, they're not coward, they're not weak people. Black American culture, intelligent people. They know how to come up from the bottom to the top without scamming, without anything negative. For the most part, they do everything straight, and that's where they get burned. Black Americans have a profound influence over the world. The positive side of American blacks is that they welcome armed, meaning they always have their arms open, inviting people into their space. You're not going to find no other group of black people who are welcoming to accept outsiders and strangers more so than black Americans. FBA, the foundational black Americans, which is a new involved word from African American. The natives of this country are the heritage white Americans and the foundational black Americans. The Indians are no longer in large numbers to have a say. Even though these three groups of people have been sharing this country landmass for over 400 years. I want to talk about the mistakes that other people look at when dealing with black Americans and want to use that as a way to separate themselves from black America until they need black America. You know, you see on TV shows, YouTube, movies, all these depictions of black American moms being negative, alcoholics, don't have the profound No, I'm not gonna say profound. They're not speaking in proper tone when they're talking to their children. They have a very strong explicit language when giving directives to their children. They show the fathers in and out of jail being gangbangers, robbers, criminals. They show black Americans always being troubled or disturbed or angry. That's the negative views that always get pushed around the world. But the positiveness, the standing up for rights, the wanting everybody to be equal who share the same skin color as they do, the people that don't like others to be oppressed, that's positive. So it baffles me if people have common sense, people have a brain inside their skull, why would they want to come to this country, the United States of America, and stay away from FBAs? How could you put it in? How could you come to a country and say, I don't want my kids around these people, they just no good, based off what I see in the movie? Movies are scripted. There's somebody that a movie is based off somebody's creativity, whether it be imagination, a dream, a subconscious thought, is put on for the world to see through actors as a work of art. So you mean to tell me, because a work of art could seem so realistic to a person's understanding, they automatically says, okay, stay away from them people, that's who they are. And that's the case, the nerve. Where you have people from abroad that live in worse, more conditions, first far off worse conditions than a black American could even imagine. The things they have to do to survive is basically a way of life where they come from. So how could you come to America, a country where it's developed, everything is free, free electricity, free water, free air, free space? Say, and I'm saying free, not that you don't have to pay for these things. I'm saying free in the sense of no matter if you rich, poor, down and out, there's no government that's going to press a button to stop the electricity from flowing, to stop your water from flowing. It just don't work that way in America. And that's due to the FBA's fighting for those rights. And a lot of that have to do with the geographical location and the infrastructure of the United States of America and good technical thinking and engineering work. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I say FBA must lead the way. What other group of people went through turmoil, went through hardship, went through poverty, went through rules and regulations, went through brainwashing, went through propaganda? What other group went through that? What other group have the whole world against them and they still push forward and they're still surviving and they're still existing other than foundational black Americans? There's no other ethnic group out there in the world that have the clout like foundational black Americans. When you come to a person's soil, you have to respect the rules. That's common sense. You can't have somebody from New York. Just an example. You can't have somebody from New York go to California and a New Yorker expect California to follow his or her way of New York style practices, customs, and religions and ideologies in Cali. It's not going to work. California people gonna say, "You know where you at, cuz? You know where you at, fool? Can't go to Texas. A California can't go to Texas until Texans had to carry themselves to California where them Texans gonna say, this is Texas." So why would people come to a whole new country and think you're gonna have your influence be felt in America? Nah, you have to follow Black Americans' way of looking at life, or you will lose. You see Donald Trump having his way, right? He's getting rid of all the black people from abroad. He's sending them back home. He's sending them back home. And at first I was saying, why he sending them back home? They black. Then I started looking on the internet and started seeing that there's all these ethnic groups that have an issue with black Americans. And I said, ah. Then I see how low they could go with their comments towards black Americans. Then I was like, okay, I get it. The dislike, the jealousy for black Americans is really embedded in them. But to me, I just take it as jealousy. But it's embedded in them. So Trump is getting rid of them. I say, yeah, foundational black Americans right for supporting deportation if they're going to have a group of people that look like them and don't want to share the same space in the right way as black Americans. You see, the problem is when foreign people come to America, all over the world, they already pick a side. The European whites from abroad come to America, they land right on the white side because they know they're white. The benefits is there, the perspective is there, and first the information, the guidance is going to be there. But when the blacks come to America, they want to stand on the line of the whites. And of course, if white people don't notice that, there's no problem. But when a white person happen to turn around and you gain their attention, they're gonna say, excuse me, I think you're on the wrong line. Your line is over there. No, 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 my line is here. I'm not with. I look like them in color, but I don't think that. I don't think like them. Who cares? You're not them. Going the other line. It's like if you're going to the store, right? There's two lines formed. You see both lines is formed before you go to the cashier. You wouldn't possibly stand to the side, right? And expecting service. You couldn't possibly think you're gonna come to that store and make your own rules up and make a third line. You couldn't possibly think that. And if you thought that way, sucks to be you. You will soon find out it's not what it is. So when you come to America, you stand in a line where there's people that look like you. Skin color, the language may be different, the culture may be different, but the skin color and the way you're gonna be treated in this country is gonna be the same. So that baffled me, and I keep using that word baffled strongly because it's to me, it's an intentional thing. People literally coming to America and having no regard for foundational black Americans until they have to have regard for foundational black Americans. And now I see why foundational black Americans is saying good riddance. We've been fighting this fight for so long. We open our arms up to you to have you come to the country, think you're gonna join and fit in, but you choose to do your own thing with no influence and no ways of understanding the land that you moved to. So this is the message to most of the black people from abroad when you come to America. If you come into America to separate yourself from black Americans, if you ever seen that Rocky IV movie, the famous speech from Ivan Drago, you will lose. Black Americans is where it is. This is their country. Fall in line. Act like you know. Get with the program. Get with the program. Because this man that's in office ain't playing no games. He want people out of here. And it's because you don't belong here in the first place. Let alone you didn't come to America and then line up with your people. Show you how small minded certain people could be and how worldly viewed Donald Trump is. Now, the words that come out that man's mouth may be ignorant, arrogant, obnoxious, but he's telling the truth. He's putting people in their place. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like America. So if you don't like the country that you're moving to, go back to the place that you're born and love. And that's not a nasty speech. That's not a racist speech. That's a speech of reminding you how you feel is what he's being told he's going to express for you to go back home. Black Americans in their country, they are the shit. They're the people you have to answer to. Whether you like it or not, you have to answer to them. Now, recently, I put a podcast up with I put a podcast up about Black Americans, Caribbeans, everybody having a little, you know, I'm not gonna say war. Their choice of words. And then I said, did I do good with that one? I said, yeah, I did good with that one. But today, this one, I want to express. Stay in your place. Don't speak on nothing that don't involve you. Nobody could go to your country and talk about how you live in your country. So don't come to America and have an opinion about how black people live in their country. Unless you know how it is to live with another group of people. And if you don't have that, then you don't have the right to speak on nothing. Because your opinion means nothing in the country that don't have your bloodline or your lineage inside of it. You just living here. And nobody cares how you live. But people do care what you say out your mouth so they can use it against you. And that's what Donald J. Trump is doing. Deporting people who came to his country and took the money and sent it back home to their country, but never went back home. Instead, they sent the money back to their country, disrespecting the country that's providing them the money. Because let's be honest and let's be clear. Most immigrants within the past 5 years didn't have to work for nothing. It was given to them. The Biden administration gave them a free pass to climb up that economic ladder with ease. Shit, them niggas heliported up to the top with ease. So no more working hard rhetoric about you come with $1 in your pocket, you had nothing, you got nothing, you know nothing. That shit don't mean nothing. The truth is out there. Biden administration gave y'all everything. And the money that y'all received came from the foundation of black Americans' hard work. Now, the mistakes FBA made now. The mistakes FBA made was coming at their fellow Caribbeans and Africans too hard. Too hard. You already know, for the most part, FBA, y'all in the lead. You have everything. Y'all the winning team. Y'all the 90s Bulls. 91, 92, 93. That took a vacation, came back 96, 97, 98. Damn near the whole decade was yours. So this country is yours. Everything here is yours. And for the most part, most people come to America with a dream and a story. And they don't have nothing. So you don't have to pay them no mind. That's just chitter chatter. That's enviness. I think the mistake FBAs are making is making sure too many black people are becoming deported without paying attention to the other ethnic groups that's being imported by the millions. You're going to need some extra helping hand when it comes to the get down, politics, voting. That's the get down. You need numbers to keep people intact. You need numbers to keep your foundation structured. So the Haitians and all the other fellow Caribbeans that may have gotten in trouble in America and they forced their way to self-deport themselves by doing wrong in the country, you can't save them. But the ones that come to America and they work hard and they want to have something and they finally get to understand that black Americans are the people they have to respect and link up with to have, let them people stay. Because remember, an older person mindset is hard to change because they born where they born and their mindset is where they born. But their children born in America, so their children automatically will fall in line with FBA. Their children, because most people are never gonna go back home to live. That's just a delusional. That's just stuff that they say. They don't want to go back home to their country, and you know this. So first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation kids is gonna be American. By the time we get to the fourth generation, even the food selection that they choose to have is not gonna be where their parents come from. That'd be dissoluted a long time ago. That'd be dissolved. So black Americans, let's see y'all change the narrative just a little bit and let some of the Caribbeans and Africans stay in America, the ones that understand that they have to, get in the groove with the black Americans. Let's keep them here. Let's keep them in sync. Let's make sure that they have a good life. Because we need the numbers. Black Americans need the numbers. Like I always stress, my grandmother came to this country and she always told me to keep my head down, do what I have to do in life to push forward. So I done that. And when I was born, America wasn't the way it is of now. Most immigrants was quiet. They wasn't so prideful and have a big ego to think that everything is their way. Think that everything should go their way. Excuse me. They didn't have a big ego like that. And I get it. It's because of the numbers. Most their loved ones came to the country. Most their fellow people came to the country. So they feel like, hey, we got our numbers up. We can make some waves. But they don't understand America. People don't understand America. So when my grandmother was here, she understood. No matter how many of her people come here, this country is too big and have its own people here that got its own country, own understanding, and you can never figure out the country. You can never go against the country. So she didn't raise us to be that way. My grandma passed away in the late 60s, not too far behind Malcolm, Martin, and JFK. That shows you the mindset of the people of the 60s. Now we're in the 2020s. We need all the people we could get. All the people that want to be in tune and push ahead. We need the numbers. Because the Hispanics is always about numbers. The Hispanic community have an interesting, intriguing strategy. Let me say this real quick before I sign off. The Hispanics is a little bit white. Most mazito or mulatto, as we say in America, black and white mixed blood, or African and Indian mixed blood. And then you have most of them that are dark skinned. But they all represent the Spanish language that bring them some type of identity, regardless if the dark skinned ones are treated or mistreated as the worst, and the white ones is considered high class, and the ones that's mixed blood is considered middle class. Similar to how the American structure is, but America is a bigger, larger scale of separate classification, classism. In the Latin community, they look up to the whites, right? But this is why I love America, though. So I love America. The white people in the Spanish community, when it comes to America, they're at the bottom. Trump, Biden, Bush, they don't care about them. They're at the bottom. Them Spaniards lost their hierarchy a long time ago to the Norwegians, the Vikings, the British. They been got rid of those Spaniards long ago. So the Spanish is at the bottom. Plus, they already mixed the race too many times for them to even be considered a pure race of anything. And you see right now, 2026, all the Moroccans just swim 3 miles of water. Some died, some survived to get to Spain. They're gonna mix the race even more. Okay, they're doing it way back then. So the point I'm trying to say is the new age Hispanics, the ones that assimilated and came together as one, those are the ones that's gonna be in competition with the blacks in America. Because the ones that's dark skinned gonna find some type of identifying with the black Americans or anybody that's black. The ones that's biracial gonna link up with the white and blacks of America that's biracial. The ones that's white in the Spanish race gonna try to always make sure they hang with the Donald Trumps and the Bidens. But them white people that's purely white don't care about them Spanish people. Because most of them Spanish people, when they roll back their photo album for about 80 years, they're gonna have mixed blooded people in it. White people gonna have pure white. It reminds me when Ben Affleck is dating J Lo, right? And J Lo was white, but she wasn't white enough for them people out there in Boston when Ben Affleck come from. That's when J Lo realized she ain't fit the part. She ain't that white. She better take her ass back to Puffy, act like she know. So they already know what it is, man. But get back to the main lesson at hand. FBA must lead the way. If you try to come to America and separate yourself or do anything outside of that, if you're a person of color, you will lose. SP Convo. SP Convo.